Hello and welcome to another episode of the Expertly German podcast, the podcast to learn German. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Episode des Expertly German Podcast, dem Podcast zum Deutschlernen. Well, guys, if I sound a little bit different today, that's because I'm in a basically almost empty house, a big empty house. I'm helping someone to renovate their house. And so I have to do a little bit of an improvisation today. So bear with me if some things sound not as great as usual. And this week's saying, das Sprichwort der Woche ist, den Nagel auf den Kopf treffen. Well, obviously, if you renovate houses, you obviously probably hit nails on heads, but that's exactly what we mean. Den Nagel auf den Kopf treffen. Den Nagel auf den Kopf treffen. Hitting the nail on the head. So basically meaning going exactly straight to the point. Den Nagel auf den Kopf treffen. Der Nagel, the nail, der Kopf, the head. Cool. Okay, so in today's lesson, we first have a little learning session. So not so much an exercise session, but a learning session about the cases. I don't want to go into like too much detail, but I want to kind of give you a reminder session about where to use which cases. And then we do the news topics in German. I am saying the news in German and then I'm translating them into English. All right, buckle up, guys. Are you ready? Here are the German cases. When do we use the nominative case? The nominative case is used when we have the subject of the sentence. The subject of the sentence is always in a sentence. It's the person, animal, or thing that is doing the action. Again, we use the nominative case for the subject. And the subject is the person, animal, or thing that is doing the action. For example, if I say, ich sitze im Zimmer, I'm sitting in the room, then is ich, that's the subject. So that's when we use the nominative case. We also use the nominative after the verbs sein, which is to be, and werden, which is to become. So we use the nominative case for the subject after the verbs sein and werden. Cool. So here's an example sentence. Der Mann ist ein Lehrer. So here both the man and the teacher, der Lehrer, is in the nominative case. Why? Der Mann is the subject, the person, animal, or thing, in this case, the person that is doing the action. He is being a teacher. And because ist the conjugation of sein, ein Lehrer, is also in the nominative case. Another sentence could be, der Mann wird Vater, or der Mann wird ein Vater. So here, Vater is also nominative. Der Mann obviously is nominative, but Vater, father as well, because we are using the verb werden, here conjugated wird with a D. So that's the nominative case. That's the first one. Let's now go to the next one, which is the accusative case. The accusative case is talking about the direct object. Here we need to look at the direct object. Yeah, so if we have the sentence, ich frage den Mann, then ich is the nominative case because it's a subject, but den Mann is an object, and here the direct object. Who do I ask? Sometimes I can also use what do I do or what do I ask? And in this case, who do I ask? And so we have the accusative case. In German, we would say, wen frage ich? We use the question word wen. However, for non-native speakers, that doesn't make that much sense, or that it's not that helpful. Another example would be, ich kaufe der Frau eine Blume. And so here, der Frau is not the accusative case. Eine Blume is the accusative case. Why? Because I'm literally buying the flower. So I'm going into the shop and I'm buying the flower. What am I buying? The flower. And for whom is something being done? For the woman. And then that's the indirect object. And we will look into that in a moment. So important is the direct object, the accusative case. Ich kaufe der Frau eine Blume. Eine Blume is the accusative here. We also use the accusative case after certain prepositions. I like to remember FOC do. It's not an official term or anything like that. It's just something that I made up. It stands for FOGDU. So für, ohne, gegen, durch, Those are prepositions. And after those prepositions, we always use the accusative case. So you can think about a sentence on your own, but let me think about something. Ich spiele ohne den Ball. I'm playing without the ball. Ich spiele ohne einen or den Ball. And so because we have ohne, after ohne, I use the accusative case. So prepositions kind of override other rules. They are kind of like little, they come in and they change the whole thing. Okay, so then we have two-way prepositions, but I keep those out for today. Let's go now to the dative case. The dative case is about the indirect object. What does that mean? Going back to the sentence, ich kaufe der Frau eine Blume. So we know that eine Blume is the accusative case, the direct object. So for whom is something being done? For the woman, and therefore it's the indirect object. I'm going into the shop, I'm buying the flower, and I'm indirectly impacting the woman because I'm doing it for her. We also use the dative case after certain prepositions. Many prepositions, here are three: mit, nach, and zu. So you can think about something like ich spiele mit dem Ball, dem with an M like mother. Ich spiele mit dem Ball. Ich spiele mit dem Ball. Here we have the dative case for Ball, dem Ball, because we have the preposition mit. And then we have the last case, the genitive case, the last case here on my list, der Genitivfall, and that's about possession. Oftentimes, by the way, nominative case the first, and then we have the genitive case as the second, then dative as the third, and accusative as the fourth. That's also how you can often find this in books. I like this version more, but it's different somewhere else. Okay, possessions. That's the genitive case is about possession. For example, das Haus des Mannes. Das Haus des Mannes ist schön. The house of the man is beautiful or nice. And so whenever you think about an of the in the English language, that's when we use the genitive case in German. Das Haus des Mannes. Die Jacke des Hundes, the jacket of the dog. Die Jacke des Hundes. You could also say for names, Tom's Jacke, Tom's jacket, like in English. Oftentimes we use the dative case instead of the genitive case in German. For example, das Haus von dem Mann. In German we have the saying, der Dativ ist dem Genitiv sein Tod, which means the dative is the death of the genitive, something like that, because people are using more and more the dative, using the preposition von, which is a dative preposition, instead of the genitive. However, genitive sounds nice, so if you can, use the genitive. Again, the genitive case is about possession. Das Haus des Mannes, der Hund der Frau, and so on. Before we continue with today's lesson, let's start the new year by learning German properly. Join my 10-week program. It's available on 2 levels, beginners and intermediate speakers. So during the 10 weeks of the program, you will have a weekly group session with me where I teach you a certain subject of the German language. And you will have lots of opportunities to practice speaking as well. We do presentations and we do quizzes and we just practice speaking in general as well. But best of all, you will receive learning material before every lesson, before every group session, where you can learn with videos, quizzes, and homework that I will provide to you. So don't waste your time. Join my program. You can find all of the information in the link in the show notes. Cool. Now we come to the news. Ein Sicherheitsbündnis für den Osten. A Security Alliance for the East. Am Mittwochabend hat Kasachstans Präsident das russische Staatsbündnis um Beistand gebeten. On Wednesday evening, the president of Kazakhstan asked the Russian Security Alliance for assistance. Kurz darauf landeten russische Soldaten in Kasachstan. Shortly afterwards, Russian soldiers landed in Kazakhstan. Wem dient das Bündnis? Who does the alliance serve? Mittwochabend bat der Präsident von Kasachstan um Unterstützung gegen eine terroristische Bedrohung im Land. On Wednesday evening, the president of Kazakhstan asked for support against a terrorist threat in the country. Russische Fallschirmjäger sind daraufhin wenige Stunden später in Kasachstan gelandet. Russian paratroopers landed in Kazakhstan a few hours later. Den Vorsitz im Sicherheitsbündnis hat aktuell Armenien. The chair of this alliance, of this security alliance, has at the moment Armenia. Als Armenien letztes Jahr um Beistand gebeten hatte, haben sie keinerlei Hilfe von den anderen Mitgliedsländern Belarus, Kasachstan, Kirgisistan und Tadschikistan erhalten. Alle wollten den Bündnispartner nicht unterstützen. When Armenia asked for assistance last year, they received no help from the other member countries, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kirgisistan, Tajikistan. They did not want to support the ally. Eigentlich besteht aber Beistandspflicht im Falle einer solchen Situation. Actually, there is an obligation to provide assistance in such a situation. Anscheinend legen sich die Länder das aber aus, wie sie möchten. Apparently, the countries kind of interpret it however they like. Jetzt fragt man sich erneut, was Putin vorhat. Now everyone wonders again what Putin is up to. Über Jahre verfolgt Russland die Politik, in den Nachbarländern russische Pässe zu verteilen und mit der Verteidigung der russischen Bevölkerung zu drohen. For years, the policy has been to distribute Russian passports in neighboring countries and to threaten and defend the Russian population. Nun wird sich in Kasachstan zeigen, wozu dies alles dienen soll. Now it becomes clear in Kazakhstan what all this is supposed to be used for. Okay, guys, so I could talk a lot more about the German news. I think I cut it here. The main goal here is for you to learn German. So really try to listen to the German sentences that I'm saying and then try to get a feeling for that. And if you don't know what it means, that's why I'm doing the English translation as well. I have those transcript as well available. Just click on one of the show notes below, one of the links in the show notes below, and then you can download it for €1 or you can sign up for €5 membership, which would help me a lot. Thank you very much for listening and learning with my podcast. Please share it wherever you can with your friends, with Facebook groups or on Instagram. That helps to grow the podcast so that more people can learn German. I am offering again the 10-week program where you can learn together with others German in a structured but also in a very fun way. So I wish you all a great start into the new year. Cheers, guys, und bis bald.